Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. I like this new Zoom AI thing. I gotta tell you, it's giving me all the AI stuff I need. Like, first it said turn up the volume, then it says unreleased video or release video. I gotta get contacts. I apologize. Anyways, very excited. Uh, can't wait for this episode. Um, You've seen him on General Hospital, Melrose Place, Falcon Crest, Mystic River, Perry Mason films. I know him from Wicked. No, it's not that Wicked. I found that out the hard way, guys. I'm going to actually share this story. I think it's funny. He might not, but it's going to be great. The great William R. Moses is going to be here via Zoom. Here's what you got to do: subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. Join us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/ Reza Rifts 61. Yes, Reza Rifts 61. You could join the top tier. You could get the videos, you could get the shout outs, you could get the cameos, and you could get some cool stuff like that. All right, guys, I'm very excited. Couple show dates. Go to www.keithreza.com. It's going to be great. And hey, man, remember, if you like this episode, tell a friend. Why not? Right? Just say, hey, I just listened to Razor Wrists with William R. Moses, and I gotta tell a friend. I gotta share. And if you could tell a friend, that would be great, and have them share. And it will be like a big sharing trend. You know what I mean? 2025. That should be the new trend. Share, share, share. All right, guys. I'm very excited, and we will see you guys soon. Enjoy this episode with Reza Rifts with William R. Moses.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Rifts with your host, Keith Reza.
Excellent. Hey, William. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Hey,
Uh,
Bill, there's a ghost in your house.
there's a ghost in my house?
I just saw someone move behind
Oh,
you.
yes. Well, I'm not in my house. I'm actually in
Oh,
Las Vegas
oh,
at the Venetian, and I'm with, it's my daughter's birthday yesterday. So she flew in from Dallas, and I'm with two of my daughters, and we're having a little celebration for her birthday. So I've taken some time out to come chat with you and then spend some time with my daughters.
oh, you should have told me. We could have rescheduled. Birthdays
Oh,
are,
no, no, no. It's fine. It's fine with
oh,
the holidays coming up. Everything starts getting, compacted, so I figured we should get it done sooner would be better. Otherwise,
oh,
I was afraid I might stand you up.
oh, no. I just don't want your daughters to hate me.
I don't think so. I don't think that's
Oh,
going to happen.
okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think that's going to happen. They're
Oh,
pretty chill.
excellent. So I wanted to start off on how I became a fan of yours, and you're gonna think it's gonna be the most ridiculous, funny story you've ever heard. So I have two sisters, right?
Uh-huh.
And they came up to me and they're like, Keith, because that's my name. They were like, Keith, we should go see Wicked. So and they told me,
Oh,
yeah, and they told me
oh,
they told me it was a remake, right? So I watched Wicked that had you and Julia Stiles. And I thought it was a
right.
great movie. I was like, oh my god, why would they remake this? This was so great. So then we go to the movie theater. We saw Wicked, and it's not your Wicked at all.
No, it's a totally the wicked that I did is definitely a lot, a lot
It's
more.
more Wicked.
Yeah, it's a lot more wicked. Yeah.
So that's
But
how
I'm glad
I
you saw that movie. It's one of my, in terms of that part, that was a very challenging part, a very challenging movie to do.
yeah. So I mean, I thought it was a very funny. I was like, hey, Bill might like this. He might think it's the funniest, or he might think I'm an idiot. I don't know.
No, no, no. It's actually that movie was, was, I don't know if it was ever going to be popular across a big thing, but it's one of those movies that I thought was going to uh, do something special. And it did well, but when it was released at Sundance that year, it had the best release deal of any movie coming out of Sundance that year. And once they had the deal and it did well at Sundance, the producer tried to go back and renegotiate the deal. And the distributor said,
Wow.
"Well, we have a deal." And he goes, "Well, no, we don't." And they went, "All right, we don't." And then the director and the producer spent a good amount of time in legal hassles for that. A couple of years. It sat on a shelf.
Oh my God. And
Yeah.
see, that's one of the great things about streaming services is now because like I don't know the legal details, but now they just throw everything on the streaming services.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a time of change right now, good and bad, and where it's going is very interesting. It's going to be interesting to find out.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you because I know you started on a soap opera called Falcon Crest,
Yes,
which was in the 80s, and then you did a soap opera Melrose Place, which is in the 90s,
yes,
and now you're on the General Hospital, which is in today's form. So
uh-huh.
I wanted to know like what's the style differences on soap operas like that because I auditioned for a soap opera and they were like, "Hey, we're going to do 100 pages today." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. Well, that is you've hit on the key difference, which is the mediums are different. Daytime soap, commonly there was one day where they shot 135 pages. In that day that I was there. I mean, I wasn't in them, but I had probably 26 or 27 pages of dialogue that day. And you have one walkthrough, which is basically a blocking rehearsal, and then you shoot it. So you're basically shooting the rehearsal. And in nighttime soaps, that's made the way they were in those days, made the way television series and 1 hour dramas are made and the way films are made, which is one film camera, sometimes two, but and multiple different angles and multiple different setups. So in a nighttime soap, when we would have a big day, it was considered 12 pages.
Yeah.
And that would be 12 to 14 hours to shoot 12 pages. Even
That's
on a
still a
Saturday.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Soap operas are not that way. It's much faster, and it's a different it's hard work. It's a very different kind of a genre, is a very different ecosystem, completely different and unto itself, different from anything else that I've ever known. I kind of did it in reverse, which is I started on nighttime television and doing dramas in nighttime television, and then in the last few years, they asked me to come and do it, and went in reverse direction. It usually goes the other way around, and I came away with an appreciation for the amount of work it is, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely it's a different animal, very different animal.
No, for sure. And I was just like, I mean, but like, there's got to be some perks to it, like, because like you're on the TV guide covers, you know what I mean, and like all that stuff when you're at the grocery store, you're like, I'm on the soaps.
Well, it was in those days, and when I started Falcon Crest, I got that job. I actually got it in 1980, just before my 21st birthday. I got that job,
Oh, nice.
and in those days when Falcon Crest took off, there were three networks. There was ABC, CBS, and NBC. And on a Friday night, Falcon Crest averaged over 40 million viewers a night on a
Wow.
Friday night. And now a hit show is 3 million, you
Yeah,
know.
that's true.
And then when you count up the streaming, it might go up to 5 to 7. But it's a totally different. We had when Lana Turner came to the show, we had 51 million viewers that night. So it's a
Wow.
different, media is changing, and that was a different time then, and it's a different time now, and we're witnessing. You and I are standing there as the ecosystem is virtually changing in front of our eyes, and in 5 years, it's going to look. I mean, who knows what it's going to look like, but it's not going to look like what it is now. That's
Yeah.
that I pretty much guarantee you.
Well, that's kind of maybe good news for guys like me because like the longer the years are, the lower a hit what's considered a hit. You know what I mean? So they might think, "Oh, 20,000's a hit." I'd be like, "Yeah."
Well, these platforms are the ones that these are the platforms where people are going to emerge from. It used to be, daytime soaps, because there were so many of them, were the proving grounds, and now the proving grounds is we're in it right now. This is, I think this is where it is,
The
which is
podcast is.
well, the podcasts and stream and TikTok and YouTube and however they get out there and find their market now, it's a very different thing. I'm going to do one thing on my computer here. Hold on one second, just so
Oh, no, no, no worries.
I forgot to turn something off, but I will come. There we go.
All
There we go.
right.
There we go.
All
Good.
right. We're back.
We're
Excellent.
back. Yeah. So, but yeah, so it's exciting and also for me, it's a little sad. I kind of miss the old days in a way.
Yeah.
Uh, there's so much just in terms of the outreach. Television used to be, uh, and broadcast television used to be a very, very powerful medium. And it's a different medium now. It's not as powerful as it once was. I don't believe, at all. And is that a good thing? I don't know exactly. I don't know. We're going to have to find out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not so sure if it's a good thing for like veterans like you and other people, but for me, who's a nobody, it's a, you know what I mean? Like there's
Well,
more.
yeah, no, this is right. This finds legs, and there's an audience and an outreach in a different way, and this is the new way, and this is the future right now.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, like, when you were a young actor compared to now, like, what was it easier for you to audition, or did you have anxiety, or do you still have it? Because acting, I feel, is one of those crafts that the older you get, the better you get at it.
That is the thing that I believe that, which is that I'm a I'm a far better actor than I was at 25 right now,
Yeah,
by far. And I imagine when I'm 85, I'll be an even better actor. Now, whether or not there'll be a platform for me, in terms of the profession as I've known the profession, in terms of I'm an actor for hire. There's material out there. You're possibly correct for the part. Will you audition? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. That's to be found out. We're in a period right now where social media and this type of thing is an expansion, and the rest of the industry based through the studio system, which is the system that I've really grown up in, and where I cut my teeth, and that's all different now. It's all different, very different,
yeah.
and social media is very much affecting the studio system.
Yeah. Well, you have my word on this. If I ever become a huge like comedy star and these networks say, "Hey, Keith," because that's my name, they'll be like, "Hey, Keith, here's a sitcom," and then I'll be like, "All right, I want William Armoses to be my grandpa. We could call him Grandpa Billy, and you don't have to audition."
Well, they will or they won't. I mean, the studios just set their rules, and sometimes, the thing is, for now, the people that are running the studios, I guess the old joke is, who's William R. Moses? Get me William R. Moses. Find me someone like William R. Moses,
No,
and
I would say
William
I
R.
want
Moses.
I want William Armoses. I'm the
Right. Well,
star.
but the people running the studios are probably in their early 30s and probably don't know who the hell I am.
Well,
Uh,
just get rid of those guys.
okay.
Come on.
Okay, I'll put you in charge. I'll put you
Yeah.
in charge. Yeah.
Because I'm like the biggest star in the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
Yeah,
can make
exactly.
this happen.
No, well, it's the way that it is, and that changes, and it takes one. I think one thing that is still true is there are cutting edge people that are the leaders, and when the leaders break out, the rest of the industry follows, right?
Yeah,
So you have these Pied Piper figures that they sort of emerge from nowhere, and then everyone wants to be like them.
exactly.
I think that's probably still true now. I think that what the newest thing is, and what the in films or in television or in streaming, we only really know about what the newest thing is until it's already happened, and then everybody's getting in line behind it. That's kind of how it works out,
Yeah.
and I
And,
think that'll continue.
No, for sure. And here's one thing that's really scary is AI. Because like I was watching this new Alien movie. I apologize, this has nothing to do with you. But
I'm interested to hear about this because this is stuff that I mean, I've said for a long time, which is that the studio system, uh, bureaucracies, much like the federal government, they support themselves first, right?
right, yeah.
So when you look at crawls on television shows, the list of producers that go by is bigger than the cast list, right?
Yeah.
So the studio is the people that are credited, the studio is getting more is the system is self-supporting, and the people that are in the studio system are business people,
Yeah.
creative people. And what I have always felt was if they could get a robot to do it, they would, because they can control the costs and they can control that. And now they can, you know, I guess everybody has to be the judge, which is, can AI do it as well as actors? And
And
the answer is they
and
can maybe do it better because it's a computer,
that's what
but
I was going to say.
the artistry is not in the perfection, it's in the imperfection.
Yeah.
A computer can't regulate that in. When you're doing a scene as an actor and you're going moment to moment and something unexpected happens, say somebody briefly forgets a line, right? And then remembers it and catches it. The audience, what they see is a process going on with the actor as the character, and they'll endow that as they will. But that's not recreatable in artificial intelligence, right? And
Right.
sometimes it's a mistake, and sometimes it's genius, right? And that is I used to study with Kim Stanley, who's a very legendary person in the formation of the actor studio and method acting and all of that. And, she would, we'd go to her apartment in Hollywood, and then you do these exercises, and then you have to go in this ante room and talk to her privately. And it was always so painful because she could see right through you,
Right.
I mean, she could see right through you, but she used to sit and said, now I can see it right away. You're planning everything. And I would go, yeah, well, there's a script, and I have an idea, and I think this means that. And she goes, no, 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 no. Be in the moment, because the thing that happens in the moment is something you can't plan for.
Right.
Right?
That's where the genius
It's
is.
bigger.
Yeah.
That's where the genius is. Exactly. So, to my knowledge, I don't think AI can do that now. I certainly hope it can't,
No,
because
definitely.
if it can, then what I've done for a living for virtually my entire adult lifetime will go away.
Yeah.
I obviously you were asking, do I still get nervous? Yeah, sometimes, uh, but it's different. It's different. The nerve, is it my nerves or is it the character's nerves? And is it the character influencing the actor or the actor influencing the character? And the difference is that I don't try to control it now. It's
Right.
one or the other, and it works or it doesn't, and that's okay with me, right? And because in that's what the thing that they always talk about, the thing that I can do, it's not what everybody else can do, and it's different than everybody else can do. But the only thing that I can do that nobody else can do is the thing that I can do, right?
Oh no, for sure.
The thing that makes it unique and special, and trying to embrace that, which is that the difference is that not to try to be like everybody else, to try to be your clear in your vision of doing something unique, and bringing a uniqueness that only you can bring, that this actor or you as a comic, which is, I'm sure you've had that when you're on stage doing comedy, when Dustin Hoffman, said the best book on acting he ever read was The Inner Game of Tennis, right?
Right.
When you
Yeah.
talk about being in the zone, right?
That,
In tennis, it's like you see the ball, you hit the ball, and you're athletic, it takes over. But when you're on stage, when you're in the zone, at least I would think it's similar to acting, which is that it's sort of, you're on stage, but you're also out there. You're in the moment, but you can also see the moment, and everything starts moving slow motion. Have you,
right.
you know, and you got them, you got them, you got them. And, the thing for me that is the heroine when I right? Which is, and I'm thinking it's going to be similar, which is that you're doing the scene,
Right.
you're in the scene, it's you and the other actor, but you're also aware of the camera and you're also up here seeing it, and you know that every eye is on you, and every inflection, every millisecond is you have them
Exactly. You got
because
it.
you are right there, right? That's the that's the shot of like, oh, this is what knocks me out. This is what does it for me more than anything else.
I think I got your hopes up by saying I was a good comic. I'm not so sure, but
I believe that it's a process. The acting is, as Kim used to say, it's a process. It's a process, and that feeling is not an every time feeling. Most times we're craftsmen. It is kind of routine and mundane, and you do kind of fall back on you do this for a while, you have some tricks that'll work,
yeah,
but when it goes beyond that, when something is there's a synergy that's happening that is it's relaxed but so focused and so kind of pure that it's really a great that's the thing, and it's not an every time kind of thing. It's just not.
no, yeah,
But the pursuit of that is the thing that is the juice for me.
yeah. Well, I was going to ask you because I mean I'm overreacting on this, but you did 100 Perry Mason movies, and like I want right
No, I did about 35 Perry Mason.
35, right?
I
So
did about 140 episodes of Falcon Crest. Yeah.
but like, so you did these movies, and the interesting thing that I found out was your mom was an actress, and she did a couple episodes when it was a TV show. So I wanted to know how is that like how is that? That must have been pretty cool, right?
Well, it was, when I met Raymond, and I remember when I was a kid, very specifically, because when my mom did the Perry Mason shows, the originals, they were in black and white.
Right.
And I remember being 3 or 4 years old and watching my mom on the TV doing Perry Mason. I couldn't tell you the name of the show or anything like that, but I do remember that because at that age you're so impressionable. It's like the first time you saw The Wizard of Oz, right? Or the first time you saw your mom on TV. It was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's weird. But when I met Raymond, I told him, and he got the episode, and he goes, "Oh yeah," and it was great. And Raymond was a very interesting man. I worked on that. We did 35 movies over a 6 year period, and 2 hour movies, and I really had a good time doing that show. I had a great time getting to know Raymond, and such an interesting and complicated man. A very fascinating kind of character study. He was very, very, very cool guy to know.
He was kind of like in a weird way, he was kind of like Elvis, right? Like I read that all he did was like drink wine and stuff, and like he was like very particular about that
Well,
stuff.
he was a gourmand.
Yeah.
He was the best and the most of everything, and he was a big man. He was about an inch taller than me, but he was about 4 of me wide. And he was a complicated fellow. Um, he when you worked with him, he positioned teleprompters off camera everywhere.
Really?
And
Holy
the
Lord.
actors stood behind the teleprompters, throwing their lines from behind the teleprompters, and he would look from teleprompter to teleprompter. Um, the interesting thing about it was he knew all the words. He knew
Yeah.
them perfectly. That kind of human contact, for me, my hypothesis was too painful for him.
Yeah.
So that's how I interpreted it, because he knew the words perfectly. He didn't, it was, and I think that that human contact sort of interrupted the facade that he was trying to project as Perry Mason, I think. And
Right.
that's just the way he did it. He had the one thing that was, and he was complicated and stern, and the crew adored him, but also was a little intimidated by him because he
Yeah,
had,
because he can make a call,
the,
get rid of them.
well, right, the king has arrived, when he would do that. But we shot one of those movies in Paris, and I turned 30 in Paris, and it was just to shoot a movie for 6 weeks in Paris, and while turning 30 is pretty mind-blowing experience, and staying at a really nice hotel that the studio's paying for. It was wonderful. But at the end of it, I went up, we wrapped, and I got him a bottle of champagne, and I brought it up to him,
Yeah.
and I was going to stay a little longer, but I turned 30 during the course of the movie, and I gave him this bottle of champagne. He goes, "Oh, that's very nice." And he looked at me, he goes, "You were born in the wrong year." And I go, "What?" He said, "You were born in the wrong year." And he shuts the door right in my face. And I don't see him. That was it. It was like, well, that's weird.
Yeah, that would
Studio
freak
sent a
me out.
driver to pick me up, to take me back after I was done in France. And the driver said, "I spent one day looking for a bottle of port wine from the year that you were born, but there was a frost that year, so there was no port wine.
Oh
Mr.
my
Bell
God.
knew that you liked port wine, so he was trying to get you a bottle of port wine from the year that you were born." Dissolve Fade, 7 weeks later, we're starting to shoot the first day of the next movie, and we're in Perry's office, and I'm standing on him. We're doing the thing where he's laying out the clues, and I'm supposed to go get something. And just before they start rolling, I lean down to him and I go, "I know why I was born in the wrong year." And he laughed for like, he couldn't get over it. He had the twinkle in his eye and the biggest smile, and it was a it so appealed to his sense of humor. It was just a great moment. He was really a neat man. I had a nice time knowing him and being around him. He was great.
Oh man, that sounds awesome. I would have said, "Hey, I maybe you don't know the year I was born, but I was born in this year."
Right, yeah. No, he knew. Yeah, no, he knew when I was born. He knew exactly how old I was, and he knew exactly what he wanted to get me for my birthday as a surprise. It was very sweet.
Yeah. And then I read this, and I actually thought that this might be one of the most fascinating things about you is one of your first commercials, you did a Sprite commercial, but there was horses in it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how I got started.
Like we're talking Sprite then horses because now Sprite does like basketball players and stuff, but they did horses.
Well, in those days, I mean, it was what was the premise of yeah, I did I had been going to school on the East Coast, and I wasn't very happy, and I came back to California because I got a little lost, and I started working as a carpenter, and I was at a party, and this guy came up to me and says, "You look like this guy, Harry Moses did about 4 years ago." And I go, "Well, that's interesting because I'm his younger brother. I'm 4 years younger." And he goes, "Well, I'm his commercial agent. Have you acted?" And for some reason I went, "Oh yeah, sure." And
You have to do that when someone
so
asks,
they signed me as a commercial actor, and he set up a couple of auditions, which I didn't even go to. And my brother called me up. He said, "Look, if you want to do it, do it. But if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But don't waste everybody's time." So I went, "Okay." And then this Sprite commercial came up, and it was in Griffith Park, and uh, I was driving there up the 101, and I got in a car accident on the way to the audition,
Oh my
and I had to
God.
pull over and and it wasn't bad. It was a fender bender, but I got there late, and there was the line of everybody and actors. It's like, "Do you ride horses?" And every actor goes, "Yeah, sure, right, of course." Well, of
Right.
course, nobody rode horses, but my stepdad used to raise horses. I used to ride with him. I've broken horses. I can ride a horse. So I get on the horse and I kick up this, basically, tourist horse that's used to taking trail rides in Griffith Park that doesn't want to, just kind of has its own mind. And I kick the horse up and he starts to trot a little bit and I'm kicking him again and he stops and my foot comes out of the stirrup. And by this time I'm pretty upset. So I put both feet back into the stirrup and I take the reins and I kick the horse and give him a good swat on the rear and he takes off. And I take off and I run down and I run back. And then as I get to the producers, he decides he's about to stop again. And so it was like, no, dude, I don't care. You're not doing that. And I kick him and I swat him and I run back. I run him back down and come back again. I pull the horse to a stop. I jump off the horse. I throw the reins to the guy that was there helping with the actors that couldn't ride. And I walk away and got back into my dented car and drove away. And 15 minutes later, I got a call that I'd gotten the commercial, and that was my first job.
Oh my God. Did you yell, "This horse needs a Sprite on the double"?
Right. No, 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 no. I ended up doing it with Jamie Rose, who ended up playing my sister in Falcon Crest. It was one of her early jobs too.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I have a very similar experience when I was a young kid. I'd get my family would send me on these commercial auditions, and
Right.
I don't remember what it was called, but it's peanut butter with the jelly in it, and it's like all mixed in. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. What was the name of it? I can't remember the name of that. Yeah, I
It,
can't remember.
it's called disgusting or something. I
Oh,
don't
right,
know.
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
And I was doing a commercial and they were like, "Oh, here's the lines. You gotta say, hey, this is the best thing I've ever had in my whole, like a little kid or whatever." And I ate it and I thought it was gross. I was like, "Ew."
Right.
And my family's like, "No, you never say that to the casting director." So I think I already got like eliminated just by doing that. You know
Yeah,
what I
well,
mean?
that's how I got started, was doing commercials, and it was always on the soft drink commercials. Well, who wants to drink? Because if you got on camera, you got a bump. So every actors being actors would jump in there and start swigging down, Coke or Sprite or whatever it was, and they just drink it. There's a technique you have to cover the half with your lip, so it looks like you're taking a long pull of this great tasting soft drink. But if you drink it fast like that, it explodes out your nose.
Right.
You'd watch you'd watch all these eager people have watch their noses explode with carbonated soft drinks.
It's interesting that you said there is a technique to like eating and drinking on camera because I'm sure you've done a lot of stuff where your character's like eating or drinking or smoked a cigarette or something like that, where there is a technique where it plays more like that prop is actually a character in a way.
Well, what you learn about eating scenes when you're doing scenes at a dinner table is eat as little as possible.
Right,
Take the thing that because it's going to be cold and they have to replace it after each take. So, whatever you're eating, you're going to eat it 5 or 6 times. So if you're eating, a big bite of anything, an hour or 2 hours later, it's going to be a big bite of the same thing cold, and it's usually not very good to begin with. So you try to find a way to keep yourself active, and then when you do, you take a little tiny bites and intersperse it, because usually scenes are not more than 2 or 3 minutes at the longest, and you try to do as little chewing as you can in
right,
those kinds of scenes, and then vice versa. I played a bad guy once in a TV movie, and I decided the character should smoke cigars. And so I decided he should smoke those little cheroots, right? I think that's
right.
it. So I went to the tobacco store and I bought a dozen of these pretty good ones, and I gave them to the prop man. And before we went to North Carolina, and we got to shooting the scene on the day, and the prop man said, "Oh, I forgot the cigars." And we were in North Carolina in the middle of nowhere, and they had to run to, like, the gas convenience store to get the cigars that they had at the gas convenience store, and they were horrible. And needless to say, after the end of that scene, which was probably 25 years ago, I've never touched a cigar since.
Oh my
I
God.
can't stand the smell of cigars. Can't even be around them.
Yeah. And then I wanted to respect your time, and I know it's your daughter's birthday. Do we have 10 more minutes or?
Yeah, yeah, we have 10 more minutes.
Okay, cool. I wanted to ask you about Mystic Pizza because
Uh-huh.
that movie is like a huge classic, and
Yes, it is.
I wanted to know when you did that, did the offers like were you starting getting offered, or were you still auditioning and stuff?
Um, it's interesting. I made that movie, and then there was we just come off the longest actor strike in 20 or 30 years. But the last strike that was almost as long was right after I finished Mystic Pizza.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so I finished Mystic Pizza, and the movie was out in theaters, and then I'm trying to remember the order of things, but because the strike had been going on um, for 6 or 7 months,
Hmm.
and because my then wife had just gotten uh, uh, she had been treated for cancer,
Oh my God.
and I had not worked in those 7 months. The thing that came up was Perry Mason, and I took it then.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Perry Mason, I that window would have looked different if life circumstances had been somewhat different, I think.
Yeah.
But so yeah, after that came up, yeah, a lot of offers came in, one of which was Melrose Place and all of that. But I think there would have been, uh, had I stayed on that track and been able to be more patient and be less, I was 27 years old when I shot that, you know, could I have been a little more less insecure and a little more mature and not have had those life circumstances? I think I handled that point in my career differently than I did this time.
Yeah.
Strangely, the next window of opportunity that I thought was where that was going to happen was Wicked, the movie that you saw, and when it came out of Sundance, I thought that was really going to happen, but that got tied up in litigation, sat on a shelf for almost 3 years before it came out,
Yeah.
before it was released. So, but yeah, when you have those kinds of hits, good things happen, and that's what there are ups and downs, and there are periods where the phone rings, and periods where you have to go out and get them.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. Well,
yeah.
I wanted to ask you because we talked about Wicked, how it had Julia Stiles, but you also did the Derby Stellar with Zac Efron. So like
Yeah.
you've done two movies with, these are probably the first movies of their careers, and they turned out
Well,
being,
Julia Roberts was the breakout was Mystic Pizza, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
So like do you like there must be something about you where like they work with you and then instantly they're a star. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
please, yeah, please put that out to the industry. Yeah, I would like them to uh, give me that to give me the accolades I so richly deserve. But
I'm giving it to you.
no,
That's
no,
why I want to work with you.
right, exactly. So I wish I had that. I wish I had that reputation. I wish it was true. The truth is, these people have unique talents, and that were marketed and opportunity. They got the opportunities, and they answered the bell,
Yeah,
and with their talent and their uniqueness and general, these people are usually quite special people to begin with, and so these good things that happen to them, I think they're very deserving of them.
yeah, for sure. Well, I have two more questions for you. I want to respect your time. My second to last question for you is, what is your biggest fear that you had when you were starting in this business, and do you still have that fear now?
Oh, the biggest fear when I started was I wouldn't be any good.
Yeah,
Um, and no, and the answer is yes. There've been plenty of times when I have been very good. But at this stage of my career and this stage of my life, I also know there are a lot of times when I've been really quite good.
yeah,
I can be good. I know that I can be good. And it usually has to do with what's on the page, and then who you're working with, I mean, who you're working with is not just the director, it's the writer and the director, it's the producers, and then it's the crew. You need for actors to be successful in film or on television, we need to be collaborative with the people, the technicians that help us. They help us to be good.
Because
And
it's a whole machine. It's a whole piece of the art.
it's a collaborative art
Yeah.
form. It's one of the things I really like about it, and that it is important um, that you're able to communicate with the cameraman, that sound can hear you, that makeup is invested in uh, taking care of you, making you look the way the character should look in the moment,
Yeah.
and wardrobe, the wardrobe helps define the character and the look, so all these people it's a coming together of a lot of different people. And if you earn the trust and the respect of the crew, you have earned it, because they're there before they're the first ones there and the last ones to leave. And
Yeah.
no matter how hard the actor works, they're working harder. It's different. It's a different kind of work, but the crew is, you know, good actors know this, and they know that these people are there to help you be good, and so be good to them, and try to earn their respect by your professionalism and your conduct and that's important. It's important, and I do think when I started on a Falcon Crest, Jane Wyman kind of treated me like I was a snot-nosed, know-nothing kid.
Right.
Quite frankly, I was, but her requirements were that you were always on time, you're always prepared, and that you were always polite to the crew. And if you didn't, Jane was going to make your life, you were not going to have a very good day.
And it
Uh,
doesn't help if she heard about this Sprite audition.
yeah, right. No, she was, years later, I did the Rock Hudson story. And in those days, playing a gay character, I played Mark Christian, was really not done. And this is after I'd finished Falcon Crest. And the night after it aired, I was pretty insecure about it, but she called me at home. She got my number from mutual friends, and she just said, "I just want you to know I'm so proud of you, and the work that you're doing, and your commitment to it." Boy, that was that felt pretty good. That
Awesome.
felt pretty good, to get that from her. That was pretty neat.
All right. And my last question for you is if you could go into a time machine and talk to a younger version of yourself, knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
Well, there's an acting coach named Larry Moss, who he now he's still quite legendary. In fact, I think Leonardo DiCaprio, he's there when Leo makes a movie. Larry's there for every frame of the film, and helps him prepare every role, and uh, watches everything he does. But he had said, when I was at a sort of a crossroads, and he just looked at me and said, "Work very hard,
Yeah.
just work very hard." Which I think I knew, but uh, I knew that, but working very hard with having some concept of craft and process,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to get that across to a younger actor, for them to kind of grasp that,
They need their first two or three projects to learn that.
I think so. I think so. I mean, I guess kids that come out of, like, my eldest daughter went to the Tisch Drama School, and she certainly had better training than I did.
Yeah.
Mine was sort of learn on the spot. Um, and I had a lot of really great people that helped me early on. Susan Sullivan and Robert Foxworth were really great to me when I was starting out because I was really green. I was really green. Um, and I got to work with really seasoned people, in a professional environment. But you know, I think work really hard, and don't and know that failure is a part of it,
Yeah.
and it's okay to fall on your face. In fact, it's kind of necessary. But the falling on your face everyone can do. It's the picking yourself up and continuing on. That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference between a really an okay actor and a great actor. A great actor is willing to fail, and if they do fail, they pick themselves up and move on from it, and don't live in it, and go to the next thing, and still be willing to fail the next time around. You know,
I love that. That's beautiful. That's
yeah.
like, yeah, that's because a lot of people don't realize that. You know what I mean? There's more failure than
It's like when
success.
you pick up a tennis racket, right? You want to be able to play tennis like Djokovic.
Yeah.
Like, it's not possible. You got to hit 10,000 forehands, at least, and 10,000 backhands and 10,000 serves and all this. And I think acting's similar, which is that you have to have it's you do it and you repeat it and you try it and then you know and then you find your way, and there isn't one path, and there isn't one way to do anything because every actor works differently, but
Yeah.
it's coming together of that and the collaboration of that, and it's in that collaboration that either it will succeed or it will fail. And when it succeeds, it's because of good collaboration and people feeling secure in their processes, and feeling secure in the other person's process, meaning that they do theirs and you do yours, and where this meets is where that's how it comes together. And whatever that is it will be good or it will be bad or it'll be terrific. I mean, whatever it is, it's going to be,
Yeah.
and you kind of have to not judge it, just go with it, you know.
Well, William, I really appreciate you talking to me. It means a lot. You really made my world by saying yes. So if you could tell Steven I was good, that would be great. I really
I will
appreciate.
anytime. Yeah, anytime. And thank you so much. And listen, have a great Thanksgiving, and good luck. Where are you performing next?
I'm performing tonight. I'm performing in Torrance. It's quite
Uh-huh.
away from Vegas,
Right.
but yeah, when I'm in Los Angeles, I'll shoot you an email. See if you want to come.
Okay, great. All right. I look forward to it. Okay, take it easy. Okay.
Bye, William. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, guys, that was the episode with William R. Moses. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you guys next week on Reza Rifts.